Hey, welcome to Pat's Soundbites IGTV. Keeping new music alive is what I do on the radio and now on video. Conducting live chats with the artists and learning the stories behind their latest release and also playing their new video. Special thanks today to my sponsor Go-Go Tuners for all guitar players looking for a focus on ease of use, readability, durability, and accuracy. Look no further. The Go-Go Tuner is the choice of many touring professionals and a favorite of casual players. Go-Go's signature green you're in and red you're out screen makes tuning quick and easy. For more information, go to the website at gogotuners.com. Special thanks to WBXO Classic Rock Radio Redefined, allowing me to keep new music alive on the radio airways on the Pat Show every Sunday from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Only on WBXO Classic Rock Redefined. And a big thank you to Mr. Evan Balzer for allowing me to use his amazing instrumental that you're hearing right now. It's called Trails. To find out more incredible music by Evan, go to his website at evanbalzer.com. And today, my special guest is accomplished singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. From Vancouver, British Columbia, she's the amazing Alison Solo. Alison has just released her second album called Plutonian, and it rocks. Love the album. We're going to play the video and track Glass Window after our chat. We're going to learn all about Alison's career and a whole lot more right here on Pat Soundbites IGTV. Hey, live on Pat Soundbites IGTV, keeping new music alive on the radio and on video. And I got another great one for you. This lovely young lady next to me here from Vancouver. She is a singer, songwriter, and wonderful multi-instrumentalist and extremely talented. The wonderful Alison Solo. Alison, you got to show your shirt. Got to
Hi, Pat. Look at just get off my phone books here. Get off my phone books.
Look, there you go.
My shirt.
Check out that logo. Check her out on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, Alison Solo Band. And she has a album, her second one, actually, that was released, I want to say, in April. And she found I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but I'm happy it happened. Before I keep wrapping up, Alison, great to meet you. Thank you for your time today.
Lovely to meet you too.
Crazy New Yorker, what can I tell you? Keeping new music alive, and I'm happy you reached out, and I'm happy we connected. And oh my goodness, I fell in love with a lot of your tracks. Plutonian, am I saying that correctly?
Plutonian, yep, you got it.
Plutonian came out on April 21st. It's on Bandcamp, it's on Spotify. Go check it out. Go to her YouTube channel. Check out her videos. Boy, can she play. Anybody that can do the chain on acoustic and cover all everybody's little piece rather well. Yeah, I'm hooked, line, and sinker. How you been? What's going on? Let me just ask you okay? Dealing with this whole COVID thing like everybody else, driving yourself crazy?
Listen, I'd be lying if I said I was doing great. Not all that glitters is gold. It's like, you see all my professional social media stuff, and I tend to keep the private stuff to myself. And I try to stay positive for everybody, but it's been hard, but for me, COVID was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's kind of brought a lot of stuff to light. So it wasn't like a causative thing. It was kind of like, that extra straw for me.
Yeah, and you released your album, and I've said to everybody, I mean, I never thought I'd be doing Zooms with people, which is really cool. But
yeah,
I'm like, cool. It's a double-edged sword, Alison, because if you didn't release it, nobody might not even know who you are, because people are looking for new stuff and they're home and they're grasping for what's going on out there. So I think it's great. I think it's great. I know it sucks that you can't endorse it and promote it during live shows, but that'll come. We're looking
Yeah.
forward to you. You gotta come to New York, sweetheart. You
Oh,
gotta
I
get that.
will.
We would
I've been
want
a
you
couple
in New
times.
York.
I've been a couple times to New York.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll be coming back for sure. It's a great city. So
Excellent. So tell me how it all started. I know there's an Allison Jane, and then like a bunch of years, you just said maybe fresh new start. How did it all start for you? I know I read you grabbed a guitar. Maybe I think somebody gave it to you as a gift when you were like 11, and you said, "This is
yeah.
it."
Yeah, so I kind of have like the quintessential, starving artist story, but I'm not starving. So,
Well, that's
but
good.
I started singing like literally when I realized I could speak, I always tell this story, but my mom, when she'd take me grocery shopping, I'd stand up in shopping carts and just like start singing in the grocery stores. And
Wow.
it was just in me, and I was lucky because I had family to support me, everybody supported me. I had a couple musicians in the family. So they helped facilitate that and they helped me grow and hone my craft. And it just never stopped, it's just something that I've always been intuitively guided to do. And every time that I've tried to quit, like every typical musician, I quit every week, pulling my hair out. I'm led back. I feel like it chose me. I don't know that I really chose it, you know?
Well, you do an amazing job, and don't ever go back to whatever. Keep striving forward. Were you self-taught? I mean, did you take any lessons?
So how it started was my uncle had actually drawn me up, some basic guitar charts just with the chords. And I'm self-taught, like for the most part. I think I had about 4 lessons, like, when I was like 12 or 13 to kind of, enhance it. And then I just like, with the tools like the internet and watching awesome guitar teachers that, generously give away their trades, their secrets of their trades. And yeah, I'm self-taught. Yeah. Vocally, I've taken quite a lot of vocal training. So I started doing that when I was like 17, 18.
Were you
And
in like the school band or anything like that? Did you take it on into school and church or?
you know what? School, no, not really. I took a music course in school and I didn't like it because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. Like, I'm the boss lady. I'm like, no, I got to do what I want to do, and I just didn't like it. So I did things my way on my terms.
Hey, nothing wrong with
So
that. Look at
yeah,
today. I always said I talked to some great artists and I go, wow, you signed with like whatever label back in the day. And they go, yeah. And then you had a #1 hit. And then if you didn't have the follow up, you were just part of the sheep. And it was
right.
like a forgotten soul. And
Yeah, yeah,
today, watching everybody control their own destiny, they own their music, they own their publishing. It's such
yep,
a big deal. So yeah,
yeah.
congratulations. Do your own thing, keep
Thank you.
control. Don't let anybody say this is the way it should be. I mean, unless you have a great producer like Ron there, I saw from,
Yeah,
who happened to have done like Led Zeppelin and a few others. I'm sure he could
yeah.
say, well, try this, Allison, try that. So
Yeah. You listen to Ron no matter what. So
how did you get tied up with him? How did you get connected with Ron?
I just willed it into being. I that's me, if I want something, I make it happen. And I was at the point where I needed to find someone to mix my album. And I'd recorded most of it in England and the remaining vocals here in Vancouver. And I wanted someone to mix it who could add that extra touch, that extra remnant of the past, Not that I'm trying to reinvent the wheel or recreate classic rock. I'm trying to do my own thing.
Right.
Um, I want to capture some of those old magical sounds and vibes. So I just did a Google search and, his name came up and I read his credentials and I'm like, well, God, like, it doesn't
Okay.
get better than this.
Mutt Lang is busy today, and let's go to Ron.
I was all about Ron. I loved all the stuff he'd done, and you know, I'm a big Bad Company fan too, and the
Oh
Who. I
yeah.
mean, who was there, right? So, and Heart, like, and Grace Slick, and all those. And I'm like, God, like, you know, if there's anybody who's going to understand what I'm trying to do with this particular album, it's going to be him. So I got in contact with him, and that was it, just like that.
And it's great that I guess he allows you to be you and not influence, you know, what he thinks it should be, correct?
Correct. He's just a really good listener. That's the most important thing, you know, when you're working with anybody, someone has to listen to you and cater to your needs so that they're able to do their magic and just bring it up to that extra, you know, echelon in sound, right?
Right. So under Alice and Jane, you had an album out, I want to say like in 2008. Am I correct?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, 2009. It was called Sakaita. That was released, yeah, over a decade ago, and it's a long time ago. But that's still out in the ethers. It's still on Spotify and iTunes, and I've still got physical CDs as well. So.
Oh, you got to send me one because I was like digging to try to find it, to try to compare it. But I'll just ask you, is it like you've growth with your music songwriting compared to what it was, you know, a decade ago? And then why so long between the two albums?
Right. So I think that my writing has definitely matured. You know, we mature as people and through our experiences. A lot
We're
of that
supposed to.
material. Yeah, we're supposed to, right? I mean, unless some of us are Benjamin Button in mentality, right? And I feel like I'm kind of like that. I'm getting younger as I get older, but but yeah, I mean, Cicada, you know, that was written between the age of when I was like 19 to 22, and that was a pretty dark album. You know, it was really, really dark. There's sprinkles of, like, you know, optimism, but it was pretty dark, and I didn't have as much control over it production wise. I'd written all the songs, but I hadn't played as many of the guitars on it. I played all the acoustics and only about, I don't know, 30 to 40% of the electrics. Someone else played the electrics, and I hired studio guns for that. And you know, and then a lot of time went by because life happened. You know, I had bills to pay. I was living in, like, you know, downtown Toronto, and waitressing, trying to make ends meet. I was in a lot of projects during that time. I never stopped playing music. I did lots of stuff. You know, I was in a hard rock band. I was fronting that.
Wow.
Yeah. I did like at least 3 to 4 collaborative projects. Like, I was in a few duos. Like, there's lots of stuff that I really want to put out still. Not necessarily with every single duo that I was in, but there's a lot of stuff that I have that is waiting to be put out there. It's just I never had the I could never make the logistics of it happen during those times. But I did, you know, a fair bit of playing live. I never played live too much, you know. It was always like a handful of times a year kind of thing, you know. But I was always writing, and you know, I had little sort of digressions too. Like, I remember I quit music when I was bartending at a jazz bar, and I'd done a gig like around Christmas time. I was super bummed out about it. It was one of those like pay to play, and it just didn't end well. And I'm like, I'm done with music for a while. So then I ended up bartending at a jazz bar downtown Toronto. And it was really interesting what happened, because a gentleman came in. He was a politician, and we were talking. He said, "Have you ever thought of getting into politics?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And he's like, "Well, the way you speak, it seems like, you know, you really want to do a lot of community work, and you should really consider it." And I ended up going on Craigslist that night, and I happened to find like a political party that was looking to hire somebody. And so I actually did get into politics for a little bit. I volunteered, you know, but I did a little bit of, you know, canvassing, and it was a really interesting experience. But what was happening was I was bartending at this jazz bar, and these amazing acts were coming in and playing. And one night, like, this act brought me to tears, and it was like uncontrollable. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, it's not that I don't have a passion for politics either, but I can't give up music. So I ended up going to an open mic, and I bumped into an old band member from like 11 years ago that night that I went in, and I hadn't played for all those months, and we started chatting, and we started to create music together. And so his name's Pierre, and he actually contributed to a little bit of the writing and two of the songs on Plutonian. And we have a bunch of stuff still sitting around that I want to release, So it's a huge story, but lots of twists and turns. But as you can see, like I kind of always came back to music,
No, it's a great story. It's, no such thing as a coincidence. And
No,
connected with the bar,
it was
you're always,
serendipitous.
you're right there. And that
Yeah.
video that we talked about before I hit the record button is
Yeah.
you're a bartender, and there's an incredible gentleman named Steve who's like a flutist, and he was like, wow.
Yeah.
And there you are supposed to be tending bar, and you could just tell like it was like everything was coming out. You need to watching that video, you see the real you, like this is where I belong. Yeah, you got the beer. Be careful. Don't get me fired. But I mean, you hit it. You hit it out of the park. And I could hear the audience, and they didn't want you to end, but you didn't want to get fired either. And it was like a turning point. I thought maybe for you to really go, this is my love. You took the guitar off, and then you're like, one more time. Let's do the Allman Brothers. Yeah.
Hey, listen, to be honest, I'd had a couple drinks, of course. I was bartending, and so I'd never met Steve before. They were a duo that were coming by to play for that night, and I guess we started chatting, and he's like, well, why don't you come and jam? And I thought, oh, screw it, but like, it's, we've only got like, what, 20 people in here, some of whom were waiting for food, but picked up the guitar, and I was just having a blast, and then the poor chef, he was just doing his job, but I was the only one working that night. So he's like probably got all this food waiting on the line. And it's like, and here I am singing Midnight Rider, It's like,
I loved it.
Like, get the hell out of my face. I'm playing a song. Like, I'm loving it, and they're loving it. And I asked them, and they want me to play, but bless his heart and soul. He was just doing his job. But I've got all kinds of crazy stories like that.
I thought that was great. I'm like, wow, this is like almost a turning point. Here, you got it. Take care of the bar, Steve. What do we do? What are we doing tomorrow night, Steve? Let's do it again.
It's like, yeah, and then like the patrons were just helping themselves. I'm like, oh my god. We had cameras, by the way, so I was like, oh, the boss is probably watching this right now, and he's not too happy with me. They want drinks, right? So he's making sales. He's happy. So
talk to me about your songwriting, because I got my little Johnny Cash shirt on. Ooh, and one of his favorite singers is Sister Rosa Thorpe, that he mentioned in his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm like, wow. And the album is so diverse. I mean, I go from, American Dream, I got here in my little notes, is like a bluesy Americana, and then Beautiful and Old gets you into that psychedelic 70s rock with a little organ. And then Sister Rosa Thorpe, I Ain't That Girl, and I'd Come Back Girl. And I'm like, oh my God. It's a killer. It's a really good album. And I'm all into diversity because, I think the boundaries are off. It doesn't matter whether you're classic rock, blues. Radio playing. There's not many of me that is crazy and plays everything, but I love it that it's a very great album that's very diverse.
Thank you. So as far as the writing, that there were little bits that were written kind of over a span of a few years, some of which I'd written while I was in England. Again, a couple of them, American Dream and Beautiful and Old, that I'd written when I was working with the guy I'd mentioned before, Pierre. The guy I interviewed from 11 years ago. And it was challenging to put the album together. I didn't leave anything unattended. I was really meticulous when it came to the order. Like, I wanted everything to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist. And I sat there and I thought, God, how am I going to like make this seamless? What am I going to how's this going to make sense? Because I have a lot of other songs, like I said, that are sitting there that I could have put on the album, but they wouldn't have lended themselves to this particular concept, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's so diverse because of that, because of the different times in my life that I've written the songs. And my writing is all about creating some kind of transcendental experience for myself. It's like transcending things that I can't necessarily cope with or I can't express. So I put it into my writing, you know?
I wrote down here, you said, I think on Facebook, I wrote it down, if I can uplift people through my own creative self-expression, even if it's one by one, I'm doing my job. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Thank you. That's how I feel, you know, that's what it's about. That's what I come to terms with, you know.
Does it start for you with, right, you know, a riff comes to mind, or the lyrics, or you get on the piano, or you grab the acoustic or a Strat? Talk to me about the songwriting process for you.
All of the above. I mean, Sakaita was probably written about ex-boyfriends, but that was an easy album to write. Yeah, you know, it's all of the above, you know. There have been instances where actually that same bar that I played with Steve Thamer, I remember I was getting on the bus to go to work, and all of a sudden this melody popped into my head. And when I got off that bus to go to work, I ran to like the chef in the kitchen. I'm like, I need your phone now. And I just grabbed it and I like left myself a voice message on my phone to sing out the melody like before I started work. So, you know, you have those magical moments, you know, where you know, you'd be at a party and you're like, oh man, I got a riff in my head. So you go to the bathroom and you sing it in your voice memo, or, you know, you're like, you don't want to be this big nerd pulling out your phone, right? It's like, oh, hold on a second, you know, and you know, it's a creative process. And then sometimes you have those magical moments where you have this really, really intense emotion or, you know, experience, and all of a sudden you just write a song from front to back. That's happened a couple times just on the piano. It's happened on the guitar. Chiron was one of those songs. I just wrote that all in go, aside from the lyrics. The lyrics always come last for me, typically. Melodies also they're sort of born simultaneously with the riff writing as well. Like I'll pick up my acoustic and just play around. I'll write a riff and I just start singing a bunch of jargon. It's just a bunch of gibberish just to get the melody out, and then I plug in the lyrics. So that's kind of how it works.
I love your sound. I love your voice. You have a very energetic, and it sounds like it could be really edgy when you really let it go. And I'm like, wow. I hear like Alanis Morissette, but then I hear other influences, but you know, it's who you are. I love it.
And I think you'll probably hear something different on the next album. You know, I'm not attached to genres. I'm attached to emotions.
Cool.
You know.
Now, I did read or something that you did have some vocal issues, and something about some vocal coach really saved your life, or maybe showed you proper techniques on doing it the right way. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, I had vocal nodes, you know, so I had calluses on my vocal cords, and I was fortunate enough to come across a vocal coach who he taught me how to sing, and I had to unlearn all my old singing, and that was the hardest part. I'm still struggling with that to this day. Like, God, the demons that come up in your head when you know. It's just, I berate myself, but you know, it just is what it is. It's part of the journey, and I hope that stuff goes away eventually, and I think it just comes with more practice. And as I was telling you before, I don't have a tremendous amount of live experience. You know, I've never like toured 340 days of the year, so I don't I think that it's a confidence thing. Like, I think the more you do it, the more, you know, you just forget about the voices, you know?
Absolutely. No. You're going to be in front of a lot of people. I hope to see you in New York and on tour. And it doesn't matter whether you're your own, you know, you have your own show or you're opening for someone. We got to get you down here to Daryl's house. Daryl Hall's house is in our
Oh,
area, and I introduced the bands at Daryl's house. But getting back to vocals, I'm blessed to hang out with Paul Rogers, Mark Slaughter, and I always ask these guys, I mean, your voice. I mean, Paul, how do you do it? It's like 50 years. You're velvet, and
yeah.
sleep, 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 hydration, and more sleep. I mean, Glenn says, Pat, when I'm on the tour bus, I just put the earplugs in and put the blinders, the mask on, and I gotta get sleep. Mark Slaughter said he can't do interviews and then go and record a track. He said, just I can't do that. And he talked about how talking really could affect. He goes, I talk to folks a little bit before the show, a little bit after show, but I learned not to overdo it because I got to sing the next night or 2 nights from now. So yeah, I said that's your instrument. So no,
It's a
it's pretty
muscle.
cool.
Yeah, you can strain that muscle like anything else. Paul Rogers is one of my favorite. He's in my top 5 singers of all time. He's incredible.
He was coming to New York, and I got to call him in a hotel, and it was my birthday, and I said, I have the best birthday present. Then he sang Happy Birthday, and I'm like, okay, you're killing me, Paul.
Oh
That's
my
it.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't lose that recording ever. But I
How can you
love.
even top that?
Well, and the other thing is, let me tell you, I came up with the dice game. So I meet you before a show or after the show, and you roll 5 dice. And if you roll a 5 of a kind, totaling in 3 rolls, I play your entire album on my radio show. So when I
Whoa,
told
that's so
Paul
cool.
that, Paul's like, we're rolling the dice. So when I got to meet him, I took my brother to the show down in New York City. And my brother went up to meet him first. And he's like, and who are you? And he goes, oh, my brother Pat interviewed you last week. The dice guy, come into the dressing room. And it was like, I still pinch myself that I'm like hanging out with Paul Rogers, and he's rolling the dice before the show. And he's thanking me for playing his music. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. But I love your videos. I love all your covers, and Back to Cali. I think the Led Zeppelin one really caught my eye, and I like your diversity. I mean, Sheryl Crow and Stone Temple Pilots, and then the Doors, and then
I'm all over the place.
Fleetwood Mac. Oh my goodness, you killed it! And then I read on Facebook. You just put on Facebook, "Hey, send me some covers." And I'm like, well, should I wait or should I tell her? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Give you some ideas, but you can say. My buddy Pat New York helped me out with it. So I thought, and I'm thinking acoustically. So I'll start out with Orleans, Dance With Me. Sounds right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Night Ranger, Sister Christian.
Okay, yeah.
Journey, Lights. When the lights go down in the city,
Yeah, that would be a cool. Ooh, I'm going to look into that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool acoustically.
Acoustic, yeah.
Damn Yankees, High Enough. Check out Damn Yankees. Check out Tommy Shore and Jack Blades. They actually went on tour together from Tommy's with Styx, obviously Jack's with Night Ranger, but in their own time, they formed their own little thing. And they were in Damn Yankees too. But yeah, check out High Enough. And then I started thinking of Tommy Shore. Styx, Crystal Ball.
Ooh.
Beautiful song. And you would kill it acoustic.
You're giving me some good ideas here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm the winner. I want to put an Allison shirt. Yeah.
The contest is going to be rigged, man. Yeah.
So, and I know you. I love your artwork. My nephew is going to college in outside of Boston, and he wants to be a cartoonist and illustratist, if I'm saying that right. And I love your pencil work. I love your watercolors, and I love the album cover. And I wanted to ask, how important was the putting together that great artwork to really talk about the content of your music?
Oh, it was of utmost importance. Again, I was very particular about who I chose to do every little bit, from the artwork on my t-shirts, like my new logo, and the album artwork. The album artwork was created by a good friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time now. Again, we have a cool story. One of the bar stories, you know, we met at the bar, and he came in. I was like 22 years old. I was bartending in like a small, you know, rural town, you know, in Ontario. And one night I remember it was kind of dead, and this guy comes in. Please don't kill me. I don't even know if I should say his name. Dave, please don't kill me for telling the story. But so he comes in and like he orders like a double jack, you know, and he's like doodling on a napkin, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, ooh, this guy looks pretty angry. And we like both had a smoke outside. And we started talking about Alice in Chains, who's one of my favorite bands. And we became friends ever since. And anyway, he's a phenomenal artist. And I wanted him to design my album artwork because he knows me so well. He's known me for so long. And he was so grateful to do it, you know, and I just thought, God, he's an amazing artist. So I want someone to do this album justice, and I think he's going to do it. And I want his artwork to get out there. And the artwork was kind of a collaborative effort in the sense that I sort of gave him some themes to work with, you know. And he painted it. That's all him. Like that was all his idea. It was really cool. And
did he listen to the music? Did you give him a couple of the tracks?
No.
Wow.
I didn't give him any music. Because I didn't want to put too many ideas into his head, if that makes sense. Like, okay, I gave him the themes, and I wanted to just let him go off and, you know, not attach himself to anything, because you know, if one listens to the album, they might think, oh, well, she wants it to look like it's from the 70s, and that's not necessarily true, you know. I just wanted to capture the chaos and the storm and the beauty and everything and the intensity, and he did all that. So absolutely.
He did all that and then some. I'm like, wow, look at this guy. I'm like, that is cool. So what do we do? What any hobbies, outside interest in hobbies besides grabbing a Strat and an acoustic, or grabbing a paintbrush? What else? What else does Allison do besides make a good Jack Daniels and Coke or something?
God, I'm a super nerd, actually. Like, I read a lot. I've usually got like at least 3 books on the go. I'm a little bit ADD. I can't focus on only one, so I'll have like 3. I'm the kind of person that's got like food cooking, but then I'm learning a song, and then I'm, you know, I need to be more present in each task I'm doing. But I love hiking. I'm a nature girl, so cool. I go and spend time in nature for like a minimum of an hour a day. That's my thing, you know. I like to knit. I recently learned how to knit. Like, I guess it'd be like 2 years ago now. I play the bass too, so, you know, that keeps me busy. And I like lots of weird things. I like cycling, you know. I'm not like sort of your stereotypical like rock star junkie, maybe in the Alison Jane days, but the Alison Solo is like a more kind of, you know, it's a reincarnate, you know, a healthier version. Yeah. So, you know, I was into yoga. I'm into like meditation when I, you know, I'm in the mood.
Healthy, hiking, taking care of yourself. You're outside, nature. You find things that are inspiring. Get an idea of writing more songs. So no, it's all great. Well, I love the album. It's out on Bandcamp. It's out on Spotify. Please go follow this amazing talent, Alison Solo Band, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Check out her logo. I'm winning that damn T-shirt. I'm picking out all the covers on Facebook. And it's time to rock a little Alison Solo with one of my favorite songs on the album, Plutonian, right? Plutonian. Am I saying
Plutonian? Yeah, you got it.
I don't know why I'm having a problem with that. Either Glass Window or Last One Standing, but we're gonna rock with Glass Window. Allison, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I have, and we got to get you on tour so you can roll the dice. If there's someone you can open for, who's it gonna be?
Alice in Chains.
No, okay, that works for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I know that
Hands
was
down, Alice
probably
in Chains.
probably threw you for a loop a little bit, but yeah, Alice in
Nah,
Chains.
it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. She's rocking. She's awesome. I support her. Go check it out. Go buy her album. It doesn't get any better than this on Pat Soundbites IGTV.
What if my body was made of stone? Would you smash my glass window? What if my darkest secret was nothing that could hurt you? You are so empty. You are so empty. Help me, I cannot control me. I cannot pretend you are not real. Taken by surprise, you figure out the love from you. Figure out there is no other God, 'cause you're not real. What if my body was invincible? Would you still try to break me? What if my vision was to help you see your blindness? You are so empty. You are so empty. Help me, I cannot control me. I cannot pretend you are not real. Taken by surprise, you figure out the love from you. Figure out there is no other God, 'cause you're not real. You're not real. I lost my head and now I'm spinning. I've seen my demons right in front of me. I've gone so forward, now I'm backwards, waiting for the day that it goes away.